Let me ask you a question, and for once in your life, I need you to be brutally honest with yourself. Why is it that every time someone treats you well, every time you meet someone who is emotionally stable, who texts you back, who offers you a calm and healthy connection, you instantly feel bored? You call it a lack of chemistry. You say there's no spark. But the second someone walks into your life carrying a heavy, dark history, the moment you see a crack in their armor, a sadness in their eyes, or a chaotic past that they are running from, your heart immediately races. Your instincts kick in, and a quiet, powerful whisper in your mind says, "I can save them." Why do you only fall in love with people you have to rescue? Welcome to the fixer's trap, the tragic, exhausting, and deeply romanticized illusion that your love is a medicine that can cure another human being. We live in a culture that glorifies the savior. We grew up watching movies and reading books where the deeply broken, toxic, or lost character is magically healed because a pure, patient person loved them hard enough. We are taught that suffering for someone else is the ultimate proof of romance. So you take on the job. You see someone standing in the ruins of their own life, and instead of walking away, you roll up your sleeves. You become their therapist. You become their emotional sponge. You absorb their anger, their silence, their inconsistency, and their trauma. You tell yourself, they don't mean it. They are just hurting. If I just show them that I will not abandon them like everyone else did, they will change. You pour your own pure, oxygen-rich blood into their veins, hoping it will bring them back to life. But here is the terrifying reality about the fixer's trap. The truth that you hide from your friends and, more importantly, hide from yourself. You are not fixing them because you are a saint. You are fixing them because it is the ultimate distraction. Think about the sheer, undeniable reality of focus. If you spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week obsessing over their problems, managing their moods, walking on eggshells to keep them calm, and trying to piece their broken life back together, what do you not have time to do? You do not have time to look at yourself. Their chaos is a shield. As long as their house is burning down, no one notices that your house is completely empty. As long as you are the strong one, the stable one, the savior, you never have to face the terrifying silence of your own unhealed wounds. You use their brokenness as a mirror, but you intentionally angle it away from your own face. There is an even darker layer to this trap. It is not just about distraction. It is about control. When you love someone who is whole, someone who is happy and self-sufficient, you are handing over a massive piece of your power. You are vulnerable. Because a person who doesn't need you can easily choose to leave you. And for a paper heart that has been abandoned in the past, that level of uncertainty is absolute torture. But if you find someone who is broken, if you make yourself indispensable to them, if you become the only person who understands them, the only person who can calm them down, you create a safety net. The subconscious logic is simple, and it is devastating. If they are broken, they need me. And if they need me, they cannot abandon me. You are not building a relationship. You are building a dependency. Terrifying freedom of real love for the miserable certainty of being needed. But what happens when you try to rebuild a human being? Human beings are not renovation projects. You cannot love someone into their highest potential if they are completely unbothered by staying at the bottom. You will spend months, maybe years, giving them the absolute best pieces of your soul. You will compromise your boundaries. You will stop seeing your friends. You will tolerate disrespect, telling yourself it's just a symptom of their pain. And eventually, one of two things will happen. Scenario 1. They will take all your energy, all your light, and all your healing. And once they finally feel strong enough to stand on their own 2 feet, they will walk away. They will leave you completely drained, hollowed out, and standing in the dark, while they take the light you gave them into someone else's life. Because nobody wants to sleep next to their rehabilitation center. When they look at you, they will only see the person who watched them at their weakest, and they will want a fresh start. Scenario 2. They will never heal. Because they don't want to. Familiar misery is deeply seductive. They will drag you down into their abyss, and because you refuse to let go, you will drown with them. You will become bitter. You will become resentful. You will look at them and hate them for not appreciating the sacrifices you made, sacrifices they never actually asked you to make. So, how do we break the cycle? How do you resign from a job you have been doing your entire life? It starts with a terrifying admission. You have to stand in front of the mirror and say, I am not a savior, and my love is not a hospital. You have to realize that true empathy is not bleeding out to keep someone else warm. True empathy is handing them a bandage, pointing them to the hospital, and walking away if they refuse to go. You have to stop romanticizing your own exhaustion. Being drained by someone does not mean you love them deeply. It means you lack boundaries. The hardest part of breaking the fixer's trap is learning to tolerate the anxiety of peace. Imagine sitting in a quiet room with someone who doesn't need you to fix them. Someone who just wants to hold you. Someone who asks you, "How was your day?" and actually waits for the answer. For the chronic fixer, this pure, unearned affection is terrifying. Because if you are not saving them, who are you? What is your value in the relationship if you are not working overtime to earn it? You have to learn to believe that you are worthy of the space you take up simply for existing. You do not have to pay rent in someone's heart by fixing their problems. You are allowed to just be there. You are allowed to hold the connection without managing the chaos. Let people carry their own burdens. Let them face the consequences of their own unhealed trauma. If they lose you because they refuse to heal themselves, let them experience that loss. Do not rob them of the rock bottom they desperately need to hit in order to wake up. Stop looking for broken things to prove your worth. Tear down the walls of the clinic you built in your heart. You have spent a lifetime turning your soul into a sanctuary for people who only came to seek shelter from the rain and left the moment the sun came out. It is time to close the doors to the public. Take all that intense, beautiful, desperate energy you have been pouring into ghosts and pour it into the one person who has been starved of it since the day you started. Yourself. You are the only project you are responsible for. Let the broken things stay broken. It is time for you to finally be whole. But closing that door is just the beginning of the fight. When you finally put down your shield and step away from their chaos, you face something you didn't expect. Withdrawal. You are so addicted to the rush of the crisis that your mind doesn't know how to function in peace. At first, the quiet won't feel like a reward. It will feel like a trap. You will wake up and grab your phone, heart racing, waiting for the emergency text, waiting for the message that their world is falling apart again, waiting for the signal to put your cape back on. And when the screen is empty, when there is no disaster to fix, a heavy wave of guilt will hit you. Your brain will try to pull you back in. It will whisper, "What if they are hurting right now? Was I too harsh? What if I am the only one who can save them?" You will feel selfish. You will feel cold. You will feel like the bad guy. Let yourself be the bad guy. Understand this. That guilt is not your conscience. It is your trauma. It is an old voice telling you that your only worth is in how useful you are to others. Do not reach out. Do not send that "just checking in" text. Every time you reach out, you are not offering love. You are feeding your own need to be needed. You are starting your healing process all over again. Let them sit in the silence of your absence. And here is the hardest, most painful truth you will have to face. Are you ready? They will survive without you. Your heart wants to believe you were their only lifeline. You want to believe that without you, they will finally see your value and come begging for forgiveness. But broken people who refuse to heal don't look for forgiveness. They look for new targets. They will find someone else, another savior, another kind, exhausted soul to absorb their mess. You will see them post the same sad words, tell the same tragic stories, and play the exact same victim, just on a different stage for a different audience. When you see this, it will hurt. It will feel like a betrayal. You will ask, was any of it real? Did I mean anything at all? But do not look at this as a betrayal. Look at it as freedom. It is the final proof. The problem was never that you couldn't save them. The problem was that they didn't want to be saved. You were never their partner. You were just their medicine. And when the pharmacy closed, they simply found another doctor. Let them go. Let them repeat their cycles. You have a much harder, much more beautiful job to do now. You have to learn how to live in an empty house. When you stop pouring your energy into someone else's drama, you are left with a lot of free time, a massive, quiet space where their chaos used to be. This is the true test. This is where the new version of you is made. Resist the urge to fill that space with another broken person. Resist the urge to find a new project. Sit in the empty room. Look at the bare walls. Look in the mirror at the person you abandoned while you were busy saving everyone else. Start asking the questions you were too busy to ask. What do you actually enjoy doing when you aren't managing someone else's moods? What are your dreams? What hurt you in the past that made you believe you had to buy love by suffering? The energy you get back when you stop fixing people is amazing. It is pure life force. Take that energy and build your own life. Invest it into your mind, your body, your work, and your peace. Build a life so strong and grounded that the next time a broken, chaotic person walks toward you, your mind doesn't see a soulmate. It sees a danger. You will reach a point where you can look at someone's beautiful, tragic potential, and instead of saying, "I can fix them," you will simply say, "I wish them well." And then you will walk away. That is the moment you win. That is the moment the fixer's trap loses its hold on you forever. You finally realize that the greatest act of love you can do is leaving people exactly where they choose to be, so you can go where you belong. Stay in the light, protect your peace, and never apologize for refusing to set yourself on fire just to keep a ghost warm.